what you think matters in your training actually doesn't matter. I know this is controversial. This is context specific as well. But to make this distinct and clear in your mind, let's say we have a person who wants to increase their bench press. And this is actually anecdotal. This is personal experience. This is me helping someone I knew or trying to help someone I knew. But they believed that what they thought in their training mattered, and it didn't. So here's how it went down. I had a so-called colleague wanting to get their bench press to over 200 pounds. And this was during a time when my bench press was well over 200 pounds. And he wanted to be similar to where my numbers were. Understandable. And whenever I would consult with this gentleman, he would always be stuck at a certain weight. And I asked him, what are you doing to increase the weight on the bar? And this gentleman would tell me either that he's, number one, trying to, but also not trying to. Number two, something always came up to where he couldn't add weight to it, or he felt like he couldn't, or something came up where he couldn't. And then I would ask him what other movements he was doing along with the bench press. And then he would say, the typical accessory movements or bodybuilding extra movements. And I would reply to him, none of that stuff matters. None of it matters. You want your bench press higher. What are you doing to increase that? You have a specific goal and you're not hitting it. Why aren't you doing what actually matters in your training to help your goal? And the answer or the reply is always, I'm trying to. And I'm like, it's not working though. Why aren't you listening to the reason that you need to put weight on the bar each time you're training? And if this gives you more context, if you're benching in the 150s, you're still a novice. That means you can still add weight to the bar every time you train. Let me repeat that. If you are still a novice with sub 200 numbers on a bench press, you can increase your bench press numbers every time you go in. Okay, so what actually matters in this type of context? What matters is that you do the bench press 2 to 3 times a week, adding weight to the bar each time. I don't care if it's 5 pounds. I don't care if it's 2.5 pounds. I don't care if you're microloading. Something you can do more, and your reps are going to be low, and your sets are going to be low, but your intensity is going to be high. Let's say you do 3x5, 3 sets of 5 reps. You should be able to get all 15, but 16 should be dang near quite impossible. So your intensity should be high, but you should be getting all your reps. That way next time you know you can add weight to the bar. And I used 5 because 5 is a good strength training number. It'll still hit hypertrophy. It'll still get you strong. Did this colleague, acquaintance, gentleman, friend of mine do such things? Absolutely not. He decided to still dilly-dick with 150, 135, 145 with different rep schemes every time, adding in all kinds of bodybuilding stuff, which is fine. It's just, if you come to me with an issue and we're not working specifically on that issue, and then you tell me that results aren't where you want to be, and you've confided in me, then I can't listen to you any longer. I've told you what needs to be done. I've told you what actually matters in your training, and you won't take the advices. Okay. Part of that leads me to the next scenario here. And this is where a lot of you guys get caught up. What you think matters in the gym actually doesn't matter. Okay? And this one is all about your sets and reps. How many sets should I do? How many reps should I do? It's the age-old fitness question. It's the reason why exercise scientists, personal trainers, coaches, AI exist now. Because we all have a fundamental question to ask. How much is too much? How much is not enough? How do I know these answers? Where do I go to find these answers? Who do I trust to give me these answers? Well, hopefully, as someone who's been training for a while, you have tried and experimented with yourself to see what might work the best for you. But you may have a question to that too. Even if I experiment and try something for a while, how do I know my efforts weren't wasted in the gym? I could have been doing what was optimal for me, but this whole time I was doing something that was suboptimal for me this whole time. Well, that's where hindsight's always 2020, and all of this training and experiments is retrospective. And that's every scientific endeavor. It's all retrospective. You have to form a hypothesis, complete it, study it, and see what would be different. And what you guys don't seem to understand is that reps and sets don't matter. They don't. Not at all. You can get super duper strong on a deadlift doing one set of 5 per week. I got my deadlifts in the mid 400s doing that. One set a week, 5 reps. That's it. Super low volume. And there's going to be a camp of other people that say do more, which is fine. But I'm going to sit here and say that sometimes we do more and sometimes we do less than we need to. That's where your role comes in. So what you think matters with someone else's program or some other coach is telling you what to do, and it is not working, and you don't express that, then you need to express that to them. You need to tell them. And you need to adapt to the way what is working. But how do we know what's working or not? My number one metric in the gym is, are you getting stronger in the lifts in which you're performing? Okay? And all this is sport-specific, contextual. It just depends on what program you're running, what you're doing. But with the lifts that you've chosen for a specific block or a training period, you are not getting stronger on those, and something needs to change. Okay? Fundamental goal in the gym is not to go in there and be weaker. It's to go in to be stronger. You don't go to the gym to be weaker. You don't train in order to be smaller. You don't train in order to be weaker. We train to provide the stimulus to the muscle so we can adapt and come back next time to be stronger. If that is not happening, then all the coaching that you're doing, all the personal training that you're going through, all of that is out the window, because that is the fundamental. Okay? Whether it be strength with numbers on the bar, whether it be a better performance timing in the gym, like you did a workout A, let's say, is the same workout as B. But the next time you did workout B, you did it in a faster time. So you completed the same amount of reps and sets in the same amount of time. That would be an improvement. That would be also a progressive overload. Doesn't have to be weight on the bar, like I said, but it can also be more reps. Okay? You do more reps than you did last time. That would be an improvement. These would be a better KPI than just reps and sets. So what you think matters in the gym doesn't really matter. Okay? And this leads me to something outside the gym that a lot of people think matter and doesn't at all. And that is supplementation. And that comes from me being in the industry over 10 years, selling supplements, energy drinks, everything. And that sounds hypocritical coming from someone that has sold them for most of his life. But it's true. I would talk to a lot of individuals for hours for them trying to decide on one freaking tub of pre-workout or one freaking thing of protein. I'm telling you, I've spent hours trying not necessarily to convince someone, but just get them to buy it so they get out of my face. as as rude as that sounds, dude, you spent an hour thinking about it. You spent an hour or two researching on just what caffeine or a protein powder is going to do for you. Again, all the supplementation in the world is retrospective too. So what I mean by that is you won't know until you try it. Okay, if you're trying something new, that's the risk. Okay? It might suck. It might make you puke. It might taste bad. Give it up. Okay? Just pick something and go. It's not that complicated. They all do the same thing for you. Some of them are stronger than the others. You know, some feel like a cup of coffee and some feel like you took a street drug or something. But at the same time, that stuff doesn't matter. What you think matters doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's not going to propel you to the new ranks of a bodybuilding federation or get you to surpass numbers you haven't done before. No one's thanking pre-workout in their victory speeches. Okay? It's not happening. It's fun. It's the most unnecessary necessary thing. But no one is claiming that supplementation is causing them to perform at superhuman levels. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. Not even with creatine. I love creatine. It's the most tried and true and researched thing. And if you're going to pick something to supplement your body with, I would do that. But even then, it's not even. You know, people claim to notice it, but I'm like, how do you actually know? You know, did you do your own trial with it? Did you do your own before and after with it? You know, you just took it because someone told you to, which you should. But how are you specifically going to know? So all the supplements in the world don't matter. Your grit in the gym and progressing in the gym is what matters. Okay? So listen to sound advice when you find it and do the right thing. There's more in the realm of what doesn't matter in your training. And honestly, it's your workout selection, your exercise selection. It doesn't matter. You will identify with them once you get good at one. You'll like more than the other, which is fine. but ultimately they don't really matter. That is blasphemy, don't you think? Who am I to say that a workout or an exercise doesn't matter? But they don't. Strictly speaking, there are movement patterns that your body goes through. As long as you're hitting all those, with a variety of maybe one or two of them, it doesn't matter. Okay? For example, let's say you want to hit your chest in a workout. And let's say that you don't have much equipment, kind of like I have here. I got the squat rack, the bench, the bar. Okay? I don't even have an incline. What I would tell someone to do is pick 2 movements for chest. Okay? So, what readily available I have is just a flat bench, which I do. And I have those rings for dips. And I would tell them to excel specifically at those. Get those to soaring heights. Okay? I'm talking 300-pound bench. I'm talking ring dips over 15. If you do that, you will not have a lagging chest, shoulder, or entire tricep. I'm telling you, period, won't happen. Fight me on it, you'll lose. So I would say do the same thing for each body part. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be married to one movement. And I've tried just about everything, and I always switch things up. Some cycles I'll pick 2 movements I'm dog dirt at and try to get good at them, even though it sucks. And I'll go back 2 other movements that I'm better at. But again, the movements themselves don't matter. They're not what matters in the gym. So what you think matters actually doesn't matter on so many levels. Okay? Just pick a few good, hardcore, compound movements you can do with the setup you have, with everything that you need, and get them done and get supernaturally strong at them. And you will not have lagging body parts. Period. I do not care what movement it is. This is anecdotal evidence that I found with myself, training clients, and doing everything I possibly can to increase progress on everyone. It's just what you have to do. There's probably a ton of other stuff that doesn't matter. And there's probably a bunch of stuff that you think don't matter in the gym too. And I'm coming from this with a personal training and coaching background of when people tell me certain goals they have, and I have to tell them, no, stop what you're doing, do something else because it's not lining up with your goals. That's where this is coming from. So if this is you, please listen to it.